Are you a newer hairstylist, or maybe you've been doing this for a couple of years and you're starting to doubt yourself? Today, I want to have a real conversation with you because I see so many hairstylists come out of school with these big expectations. Like you guys are thinking that you're going to build a full clientele quickly, that you're going to make great money, like six figures right away. Or maybe even you're thinking, I'm going to open my own space right out of the gates. But when you get out and you realize it just doesn't happen that way, it can make you just feel like you're doing something wrong. It can feel very discouraging. And I want you to hear this, that you're not doing anything wrong. You just may not have had a realistic view, a realistic picture of what it actually takes. So today I want to share with you what it really looks like to build a successful career behind the chair. So you don't quit in the middle of something that could be super amazing for you. Guys, I've been doing this almost 40 years and I'm so glad I didn't quit when I got discouraged. And that's why I want to share this episode with you. I want to share with you how to grow a successful career as a hairstylist out of the starting gates and have your expectations in the right place. Hey, I'm Sherri Brody, and welcome back to another episode of Cutting Through It. Let's get into it. Do you want a full chair with a steady flow of clients and more confidence behind the chair, but you struggle with slow books, inconsistent income, and feeling stuck or discouraged? If so, my friend, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Sherri Brody, hairstylist, educator, and mentor behind the chair. After rebuilding my business multiple times, I've learned how to own my chair like a business, creating clarity, confidence, and consistency without the feeling of burnout. So grab your shears, step behind the chair with me, and let's build that business you've been dreaming of. Also, before we jump into this, if you're a newer hairstylist and you're sitting there wondering, how do I actually start getting clients in my chair? I've created a free training for you because I remember what that felt like. And I've also had to rebuild my clientele from the ground up more than once in my career. And there are 5 things I've always done that help me get clients in my chair quickly. And I want to share that with you. So if you're needing a little direction right now, head over to onpointhairbySherri, SHERRI.com/free course, or check the link in the show notes below. All right, let's get into today's episode. There's a story that was shared with me by a mentor that really made a huge impact on me at a time in my career where I was really doubting myself and wondering if I could really make it as a hairstylist. I call it the bamboo story. There's a story about the Chinese bamboo tree that really put growth into perspective for me, and I hope it does for you. You see, when you plant the seed of a bamboo, nothing seems to happen at all at first. You water it, you fertilize it, you take care of it, but for the first year, nothing, absolutely nothing breaks through the ground. Then another year goes by, nothing. Guys, it takes over 4 years to see any visible growth from a bamboo plant. But you see, underneath the surface, something powerful is happening. The bamboo is building a deep, strong root system that can sustain it. Because when a bamboo grows to its fullest height, it goes to 80 or 90 feet tall. And that's somewhere in the 5th year after it breaks ground. It only takes a few weeks for it to get that tall. Isn't that crazy to think that it takes all those years to build that powerful root system to support it for once it gets up through the ground, that it grows 80 or 90 feet tall? I mean, when they told me this, my mentor told me this, I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea about it. But you see, guys, the truth is, just like us as hairstylists, if that bamboo plant hadn't built those roots first, those roots would never be strong enough to support the kind of growth that bamboo was going to have. And that's exactly where you're at. If you're in your first few years behind the chair, I want you to look at it like you're building your roots. I really want that to hit home with you, because if you are doubting yourself, I want you to look at it differently. I want you to look at it like you are in the very season that is actually building you in your career. And if you make the right steps and you look at it in the right way, then my friend, you are setting yourself up with a strong foundation that is going to support you long term. And guys, I'm not going to tell you it happens overnight. I want to be honest with you. It takes time. It takes time to build your confidence, to build your skills, and then most importantly, to build that loyal clientele. It can take, I'm going to be honest with you, it can take 2 to 3 years to really, really feel solid working behind the chair as a hairstylist. I really want you to hear that. When I started out as a hairstylist, I had little guidance. I just literally jumped into a no appointment hair salon and started cutting hair. I didn't really understand cutting hair. I was maybe 17 years old. I didn't even know how to communicate with clients. So I didn't have direction. So that was like, I needed money. And so I started working at a no appointment hair cutting place. And I can honestly say it was there that I really got my footing on how to like stand behind the chair and deal with clients every day. And I learned how to cut, a system that was for that type of a salon. But I started getting confident, a little bit of confidence with myself as a hairstylist. But it wasn't long after that I found myself as a single mom, and I did not have a strong foundation in my business to sustain me at that time. I knew that if I were going to be able to afford to keep my kids, keep a roof over their head, food in their mouth, I needed to have some training. I needed to go back to the foundations and really learn how to cut hair, how to communicate with clients, how to run my business successfully behind the chair, so that I could attract those clients and start building a career that would sustain me. And it was only because I was forced into this situation that I made all the changes that I needed to make to build my roots for my career. Because you see, guys, that was the very first time in my career that I hit a place where I had some really hard things that happened to me. And if it wasn't for me learning from somebody else and having the abilities that I had, the skills that I had, I wouldn't have made it through that time as a single mom. But I didn't know that throughout my career, there were going to be other windfalls, other hard storms that I was going to have to face. And I got through them because I had strong foundations in my business. It was able to sustain me, and it sustained me for a long career that I've really enjoyed. And my hope is that today's episode, that the things that I share with you today, that you'll take heart, that you'll literally take notes. If you're out walking or jogging or doing this while you're exercising or doing something else, I would encourage you to come back and listen and take notes and just take heart to what I have to say, because I can honestly tell you that this career, it can be so, it can give you the financial freedom that you're dreaming of, and it can give you the independence that you want. And it's just a really fun, rewarding career if you set the right foundations and look at it in the right way. I want you to be aware of is I want you to be realistic about the timeline. I know when you graduate from school, it's so exciting. You're finally out of school, dreaded school. I don't know a single soul, a single hairstylist that said, oh, I absolutely loved school. We couldn't wait to get out, right, guys? But, when we get out into the real world and we've been working in it long enough to realize that, oh my gosh, I am like a little fish in a big sea. And, you realize that these people that you see on Instagram that are making six figures, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. And you know what else it takes? And most importantly, I really want you to just hear this. It takes personal sacrifice. And what that means is, I know, hey, I want my personal time. Hey, my work is not my life. I get that. But I'm going to tell you that if you want to build your business and get to that six figure quicker, then you're going to have to, in the very beginning, you're going to have to be willing to sacrifice your time. You need to be a yes person. That means you work the nights and you work the weekends. That's when the clients are available. That's when a lot of the seasoned hairstylists, they get to that point. And I know myself, for instance, I only work 2 days a week now. And I recently had to move and relocate. It wasn't recently anymore. Time just travels, but it was in 2014. If you've listened to any of my episodes, then you know I've done this. I'm not going to go through the story again, but even though I had reached the top, made over six figures, and had a successful business, a full book in the Bay Area, when I moved to Phoenix, I had zero, nobody knew me. It didn't matter how skilled I was. I had no clients. So I had to start from ground zero. And you know what that took? That took sacrifice. I had to go back to working nights, weekends, the days that most hairstylists aren't wanting to work. And when the clients were available, I was working them. So I'm telling you that not just for new hairstylists. I'm telling you that from me, that I've had to rebuild my business a few times, and sacrifice is what it takes. And if you're a hairstylist and you're working in a salon and you have to come in on a Monday for a training and you're complaining about it, I'm just going to tell you, why are you complaining that your salon owner is providing education and you're complaining because you're not getting paid for it? That's your time, is what you say. Yeah, it's your time. But okay, don't you want to learn? Don't you want to get better? Don't you want to grow? Then you got to sacrifice that time. Education is so expensive in our industry. And as a salon owner myself, that I was for many, many years, I've been on both ends of the spectrum. It's very expensive for a salon owner to offer education. And when you're working in a salon, if you have the blessing of working in a salon that's offering you ongoing education, don't complain about it, guys. There's one thing that nobody in this world can take from you, and that is your knowledge. Nobody can take that away from you. And if you have somebody that's willing to invest in you, don't complain about coming in on your day off and asking to get paid. My gosh, that's the only way you're going to grow. So I'm just going to tell you, sacrifice your time. The other way to sacrifice, I'm going to tell you, if you're not in a salon that has a training program, I would highly, highly encourage you to be in a salon where there's seasoned hairstylists that you can learn from. And even though your shift is over or you don't have a client on your books, watch them, sweep their hair, shampoo their clients, learn from them, watch them, glean from them, ask questions. Guys, oh my gosh, when I look back at my life, my career, it's only because I did these things. That when I was a young stylist and I was forced, guys, I had to. It was my choice. I had kids at a young age and I had to support them. So for me, I had a driving force. It was my children. So I wanted to learn everything I could, and I wanted to grow as fast as I could. So, I made sure that when I wasn't busy, I was there helping them. And guys, I did that more than one time in my career, because I just wanted to always be better and get better at what I do. But you know what happened as well? Their clients got to know me, and those stylists got to know me. So when they had overflow of clients, do you know who they were recommending them to? Me. And their clients that kind of got to know you and they saw your hard work. And they had somebody that maybe, their stylist wasn't taking a new client or they couldn't afford what a seasoned stylist is charging. They're going to, they're going to think of you and remember you. So you've got to get out of this mindset of that the world owes you. Like it's, I went to school. Now I just want to work 2 or 3 days a week, and I shouldn't have to go to classes. And I get it, guys. It's a great dream, and I'm going to encourage you, write it down. Write down, envision what you want in this career. Right now, I'm sitting at my desk, and I am looking at my inspiration board for the year. I went on Pinterest, and I just got pictures of what I wanted to achieve in this year. And I look at it every single day because I want to stay on target when I have days where I'm feeling like that, when I'm just feeling frustrated and I'm feeling like nothing is growing the way I want it to. I look at my inspiration and I remember my why of why I'm doing it. So I'm not here to put you down or to make you feel bad or any of that. I truly, guys, from my heart, I want you to be successful. And I tell you that you've got to be willing to sacrifice time and your pride. Because yes, it takes humility. You got to be able to humble yourself. Do you think that, when I talk about when I was helping these other stylists and doing these things and when I had to rebuild this last time, guys, this last time when I had to rebuild, I had been doing hair 27 years. And, I had to go back to ground zero, and I knew I needed to humble myself. I had to sacrifice. When I watched and learned from other stylists, I've done it throughout my whole career, and sometimes, like, for instance, this is one thing. It just crossed my mind. This happens to me all the time. When I first moved out here and I had to rebuild, when I originally built my business in the Bay Area, there was no social media. There was no Instagram or Facebook or anything like that. So I advertised in ways that still work today, by the way. I'm going to tell you that now. But social media is a must, right? In our industry, we have to know how to utilize it and how to utilize it to bring attention to us and set us apart as a hairstylist. And so when I moved out here, I had nothing. I had no idea about it. So I had to ask another hairstylist. She was younger than my daughter. And I had to ask for her help. Was it humbling? Of course it was humbling. But we ended up becoming friends. And she taught me a lot and got me started. And you know what else? She wanted to learn how to cut hair better. And so we traded. And it really turned out to be a great thing. But if I hadn't humbled myself to ask and try to learn it on my own, it would have taken me so much longer to get it. So the next point that I want to point out to you, this one is probably the biggest one that I really want you to lean in. So, hey, if you're doing something, pay attention right now because I really want you to hear this from my heart. Don't let your mistakes take you down. You're going to make mistakes, guys. I know, guys, when you get a redo or a client ends up not rebooking with you and they end up going to somebody else in the salon, I know what that feels like. It's like a punch in the gut, and it can make you feel like a failure. And we as hairstylists, we are such perfectionists. Oh my gosh. When we are doing, for me, when I was becoming part of the Wella team, I had been an educator for Graham Webb as a hair cutter. I worked for them for years, loved it. They got bought out by Wella, so I became part of the Wella team. And with that being, I had to learn all these color techniques. And there were so many times I would do color a new technique on somebody. And in my head, I just was like, oh my gosh, this looks bad. And it really hit me hard as far as my self-esteem goes. But I had to come back to this when I'm sharing with you now, that mistakes that you make, guys, this is how you become confident in your work. Because think about it. I want you to think about the last time you had a client that you made a mistake on. Will you ever forget it? No. In fact, you'll probably never make that mistake again because you never want to feel that way again, right? There's a one that I think about that I did when I was a really young hairstylist. I was cutting a client's hair. Thank God she was a friend as well. But I was chatting away with her, and I was taking a little weight out of her hair right on the very top. And I had my regular scissors in my hand, and I cut this huge chunk right on the top of her head. I wanted the ground to swallow me up. I mean, can you relate to that? I mean, we all can relate to that as a hairstylist. It's the worst feeling in the world. Well, I got out of it because I, kind of made it spiky and whatever, but she was great about it. But to this day, that's probably 35 years ago. To this day, I still double check my scissors. Why? Because I made that mistake and I learned from it. So I want you to rethink about how you look at it when you make a mistake. Guys, they're not fun. You're going to have redos. You're going to have moments where you question yourself. But I want you to remember that all those hairstylists that you look up to, all those that are making really good money, and that they just seem like they have it all together, they made mistakes too. And that's why they're good at what they do. It built their confidence, and it's going to build yours as well. Guys, this is how you're building the roots of your business. You're building them by changing the way you think about things. So I just want to recap what we talked about today. First of all, you've picked a wonderful career to work in. You really have. I mean, where else can you listen to music, make your own hours, talk to people, create, and make really, really good money? You can't. And you know what, guys? AI can't replace those hands of yours. AI can't replace the personality you have. No, you picked a great career. And if you want to be successful, then go into it realistic and understand it's going to take a couple years to really get your feet going. And it's going to take sacrifice, personal sacrifice. You will get to that point where you're working a couple days a week. You will get there. And you will get to that point where you're making 6 figures and way more. You will get there. You got to be able to humble yourself, to ask for help and learn from others. And the final thing I want you to remember, don't ever let those mistakes take you down. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have redos. You're going to have those crazy ass clients. But don't let it take you down. This is where you're building your confidence. This is where you're building your roots so that you can create a career that's going to sustain you the long term, that it's going to sustain you through the storms of life that you don't even know that's ahead of you. Hey, if you're in a place where you feel like you're not getting the guidance you need, and you just know there are ways to learn and to grow and to get support, but you don't know where to go, you don't have to figure it out alone, guys. I opened a free Facebook group. It's called Hairstylist Tips, Cuts and Clients. Simple title. But I just would love for you to go to Facebook, ask to join the group. There'll be a few questions just to make sure you're a hairstylist, and join. I go live in there every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. unless I'm visiting my kids that week or something. But yeah, I share all kinds of tips, both on hair cutting and on business building, because I really want to help you build strong roots for your business. I really want to help you get through these tough times and become successful in this career. So if that's something that interests you, I'd love to have you part of the group. You can find the link in the show notes, but you can also visit my website, On Point Hair by Sherri, SHERRI.com. You can find the link there as well. So I want to encourage you. Don't quit. Don't quit just because you're not seeing that growth yet. You might still be in your root building system. And if you stay with it, this career, guys, can become something really, really incredible. Hey, thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have a blessed day. Hey, friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If it helped you, I'd love for you to hit subscribe and leave a quick review and share what stood out most for you today. When you leave a review, it helps other stylists find this show. And hey, if you want to hang out with me more and learn alongside other like-minded stylists who are working on building their clientele as well, I have a free Facebook group I just started. You'll find the link in the show notes below. I'd love to have you there and hang out with you. I'll be back next week. Until then, happy haircutting, and remember, your chair is your business, so own it like a pro.